for this spaciousness, for this infinite space, the boundarylessness of this being, what Dave will access sometimes through the headless way. What's here now for you? What's it like to open to that? Some describe there's a going up and out, or going back, or just opening up, or sinking into this fullness. What's your word? What's your word for this? Is it openness? Or can you touch these words? Just presence, awareness, infinite spaciousness, stillness, being on Dave's deck with the stars, opening to Tara's healing energies, love. And then, what if we turn the volume up a little bit? Turn the volume up of this infinite spaciousness, of this openness, of this unity. Can the volume be turned up to where all we know is the ocean, the waves? The waves are known as the water. And so all we know is this infinite water, this infinite ocean of beingness. Or in Dave's words, Dave is just thinned out. This radiance just shines through it all. What's it like there? Does it touch a bliss when everything is this? When there's only this beingness, only this openness? Is there a bliss there? And Tara, who says she likes this better, she might be like, oh, Sid, let's not leave. But then, what if we just relax back? There's something like a relaxation from there. We relax back to just hear the sense of presence. Relax back to the body. Maybe just into this neutral space here. Awareness of this openness, perhaps the spaciousness, but here we are, feeling the body. You can feel the weight of the body. This sense of your hands, whatever they're touching. And what happens if we keep going in that direction? If we sink in further into the body, into the density of this form, into the senses. Can you sense a tingling in your feet? In your hands? As we feel into the body, can you find a vibration? Just as Tara found the healing energy out there, in here, can we find a vibration? Maybe some of us might use the word frequency, or even the word aliveness. but subtle vibration frequency. And then with our hands, just with the sense of touch, this feeling. What if we gently move our hands just a little bit, wherever they are, just a little bit? Can the sensory experience, can the volume of it even be turned up louder? People use that psychedelic drug, MDMA ecstasy, just for this, to amplify the senses. So we feel our hands, we feel this touch. Is it that the vibration, do we become more sensitive to this vibration, to this aliveness? And can it touch? Can we glimpse what we found out there, the bliss of being that we sometimes touch as we go out? Can we touch that, glimpse that, taste that in the vibration here in this body, in the senses themselves? And this is just one of the five senses. Maybe if your eyes are closed, what's it like to see here, to see? What do you see when your eyes are closed? And if you feel into that sense of seeing, can you find a vibration? Can you find an aliveness? Could you possibly touch a bliss or an ecstasy in what is being seen with the eyes closed? What are you hearing? Can you hear the silence? Really? If you listen into the silence, can you find a frequency of silence, a vibration of the silence? Is there aliveness there? If you really give yourself to this, if we turn up the volume of the silence, can you touch a bliss or ecstasy in this? In the silence that you're hearing, is it separate? Is it an object, or is it what you are too? Is there perhaps a unity in this hearing? What is hearing and what is being heard? Is there any separation there? And then there's taste. But there's nothing that I'm eating. What about taste right now? Just as we hear the silence, what's the experience of taste? Is there a separation between the taster and this that's being tasted? And lastly, the sense of smell. What if you give yourself entirely to that sense, to that experiencing? Can you find just a delicateness? I hate to use, I'm looking for other words other than ecstasy and bliss, but what can you find in this smelling, in this enjoyment? Can you find an intimacy beyond intimacy? And then let's push the edge just a little bit further. What if right now we went from here to truly identification as Hanin, as Tara, as Dave, and as Sid? We become identified as this form in time, in location, in space. And maybe in that you even feel a separateness. Wow, I am this body, I'm this age, I'm this location. In that separateness, if we feel into the density of that separateness, what do we find? Are we truly separate? What we are made of, this silence that's here, this taste, this vibration, the senses of touch. Even when we fully identify, can that be separate from this beingness, from this infinite love? How how identified can you go right now into space and time as Dave, Tara, Hanin, and Sid? Separate. How separate can you be? And then to feel into that. And lastly, this thing we stay away from, mind. Oh, it's all mind, it's all thought. That's separating me from the beingness. Can we just feel into that? Whatever thoughts that are here right now. Wow, this is going on a long time. Whatever thoughts. If we look closely at the thoughts, feel closely into the thoughts, what are they made of? Is it anything but vibration? What's this vibration of? And then, though we might be enjoying this full immersion into Dave, Tara, Hanin, and Sid, I'd like to invite you to relax again. Just relax. And then where do you find yourself? And this is my invitation now to find perhaps what is the optimal location along the spectrum for you as a default between this transcendence that we started with and then the extreme immanence of full identification and the transcendence of I am just the stars. Between the two, is there a location? Is there a place of rest where both are included? Or is this spectrum thing just nonsense for your system? It's all here now. It's all here. That's what this presence, this aliveness is. It's the transcendence and the immanence all here. There's no place to go. There is no spectrum. There's only this aliveness, this presence, this me, this body that Hanin speaks of that's both physical and beyond. How does your system integrate and make sense of what some might call the opposites of transcendence and immanence? How does your system reconcile this? Who wants to share next? What was it like playing on that spectrum?
Yeah. Well, I really loved the meditation you just did. It was really, I don't know, relaxing, but it made me think of other stuff. and be aware of a different way of looking to things as well. And then I was kind of um, grateful that I can tune in so fast and feel that I'm what Hanin also shared, that she um, has this sense of all those flavors which you can tune into, right? They are always there, and the body is the one that is like guiding you towards a different flavor, another room, another person that you're talking with, or and yeah, the oneness in that, and yeah, not feeling separated as well, and getting back to what if you are in a way built to go back to the physical body and focus on that a bit more. Yeah, it's kind of strange, right? Going inwards and then the outside is still there. And yeah, I really loved it. I loved it. Yeah. Thinking about
I
it.
got some questions for you, Tara. Got some
Yeah.
questions.
Great. Come. Yes.
You ready? Ready?
Yeah,
When you
I'm ready.
for all of us, but Tara's gonna lead us. Tara will lead us in this. When you went way out, when you went way out, what'd you find? Like what were your couple words that would describe what you found out there?
Rest, stillness, um, joy, gratitude.
Mm.
Yeah, all beautiful words. Yeah.
Rest, stillness, joy, gratitude.
Yeah.
As we all hear her words and notice how they land in our systems and how our words might be different or might be the same as we went out there. What were all of our words out there? And then I'm curious when we started coming back in, falling back in and leaving that, was there resistance? Were there parts of like, no, I want to stay there. There's freedom there. And just for all of us, did you notice any resistance as we started? It's like, okay, let's just relax back into the body. Was there resistance there? What about in your system? What was it like as we started dropping into the senses? Was there resistance? How did you respond, Tara?
No, because the way you did it, it it made me take a different part outside in. And that was what I loved about this. I took some joy and gratitude, I think, mostly back in. And I was like, I'm just enjoying life, right? It's the oneness, it's the wholeness, it's the yeah. So I really, hey, Jack in the house. It was really um yeah, I brought something new in when I was out there. So I didn't feel resistance. I was just enjoying the ride with your guided meditation. Yeah.
And then, Jack, we're playing with transcendence and immanence, and we just did this journey and going all the way out to the empty oneness. And then we went all the way in into this body, into the senses, also perhaps into the oneness through that, and even through identification as form and person, going into that. And so my next question is for Tara, when we went deeper into the senses, into what did you find? Just as you found healing energies out there in the rest, the stillness, the joy, and the gratitude. When we went into the density of the body and we spoke of vibration or frequency here or aliveness, what did you find in that, Tara?
Stillness. Yeah. Stillness. A little bit more of an emptiness as well. But it was serenity, serene. I
Mm.
don't know. Yeah, serene. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
Serenity, yeah.
Yeah, serenity. So, um, yeah, and that is something I took back in, and I could rest in that new sense, I think, as well. Yeah.
And this serenity.
Yeah.
And when we tried to go even further into this, into this what Hanin keeps pointing to, these sensations. When we went into the five sensations, like just into the touch, into turning up the volume of touch, or hearing the silence, or seeing, or tasting, or smelling. In that serenity, what was it like? What did you find in the senses?
They were very little compared to the oneness.
Mm,
So they were like, oh, it was like a flavor, but it was a berry in that flavor, like. So it was really little to the whole ice cream. It,
mm.
it the oneness was, yeah, it was a very, very little sense. Yeah.
Interesting. So for Tara, as we went fully into the density of form, even identifying with these senses, going fully into it, that what was loud for her was the oneness. Wait a minute, but we're not out there, we're in here. But in here, there was a loudness of oneness. What was y'all's experience with that? And how does the mind, just in following that, because often we think of oneness as kind of being a lot of folks as being somewhat out there. And then for Tara, we went the opposite direction, deeply in, and the oneness was found, was known, and was loud. And last question, Tara. Then we ended with the sense, well, we ended almost ended with the sense of identification. Okay, as Tara, as Dave, as Haneen, as Sid, like going even further into the density of, we were playing with separation. What what did you find there? Anything?
Yeah, that is also, um, I could tune into an aspect of me, of my being, and because I didn't feel emotional, triggered, or whatever that is out there, it it made me feel really pure. It made me feel the purest core that is inside of me and my being, Tara, of Tara. This whole meditation took me there. Yeah.
It's pure essence, side Terra as Terra.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tara. Is there anything else you'd like to share before we move over to Haneen's experience?
No, I want to thank you for this as well because you guided me through this, and I'm really grateful for having this experience, and that you also took me in this questioning about the meditation. Thank you a lot, Sid.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say on the other side, thank you because you took us all into the depths of this through your experience and leading us there. Thank you. And there's just one other thing for all before we go to Haneen. With how it plays in Tara, is it possible as she feels into her body and finds this pure essence that even when contraction comes, when contraction, sense of should arises, even shame arises, is it possible that if we just stay there and feel into that we might find what we've been finding in this density of the human experience, in this identification, even in this separation where Tara finds, but it's just infused with oneness or this purity. Is that possible even in contraction itself? Okay, let's just kind of take a breath together. It's like, whoo, it's a lot. It's a lot. Before we go to Hanin, anything bubbling that would like to be shared by Dave or Jack? Anything that would like to, anything bubbling so far? Anything you'd like to share, Jack, before we move on? Dave, anything? Hmm, maybe join me in the curiosity as we notice Hanin. Like, what is this? How's this playing for her? Is her experience like Tara's? Like there's oneness there. Was it more like Dave's, this clarity that was here all the time? Or is it completely different? Is it completely different? What's she gonna offer us? What's it like, Hanine? What'd you find?
I love the meditation set. Full on flavors and full on diving into everything. It was just, and the more it went into the body and the taking in the person and the embodiment, the shape, the form, the thoughts, it could just, as Tara said, include everything, dive into everything. And even now, like it's still very open. It's still in such joy of being this person. Um, and yet without having lost the background, or everything is just still being here in such intimacy.
Just let me just pause for just a minute. As Hanine's sharing with us, can we hear the music in her words? Can we feel? Because sometimes there's a sense of following the words, and they're lovely words, what they're pointing to in experience. But I want to invite us to be with her on two levels here. The words themselves and like this, can feel the vibration, the beingness that the words are coming from. Please continue, honey.
The more it just found this intimacy, or the more it went, or it collided and dived into the flavors. It was just wavy and vibrant and more dimensions, more ways, more things present at the same time.
Mm. What did you find? What did you find when we opened up, when we went to the transcendence? What are your words for that?
Openness and emptiness, I would say.
Openness.
Openness. Okay, I feel like emptiness is just coming now. um, it was more presence, presence, and it was almost like yeah, presence, and that was opening up and showing everything that's just here, and feeling into the the more it went into the body, feeling all mm, feeling it on all, not on all that, like on so many levels, on so many layers. Like the doorway was how the face feels, the face as a face, the face as no face, the sensations going through, like being transparent almost. Um,
And what when there was a sense of from this way outness, and there was a sense of relaxing back, relaxing into the body, and then as we were going, sinking into the senses, was there any resistance to that?
yes. There wasn't resistance to the meditation. There was noticeable strong resistance in the embodiment. And it was almost as if a thought or arose. I'm sorry if the past tenses aren't right. Um, that it felt like it was saying, and I could really feel into it, but it was saying, in order to be a human, I have to be tensed. And that was just discovering that more. Like, in order to be that embodiment, that form, tension has to take place, resistance in a way. Like,
Perfect. Perfect. This is for all of us, look at that. Order to be embodied from this spaciousness, from this bliss of being, come back into this full embodiment. Like tension has to be here. That I prefer the out there. Can we find any version of what Hanin's leading us in our systems? That something is it's better out there. It's better in the unity, the oneness when we're just the ocean. That's where the true bliss is. See if you can find that, or if there's a version of that as we come back in. And then what did you find, Hanin, as we kept going in into the senses, into identification and the density?
it felt like I could dive in. I could just feel that and include it. And the curiosity started showing up more, that it was observing that, and yet so much joy of being this embodiment. So this is where it felt like more ecstatic, ecstasy, joy, and yet curiosity to explore them, but still from that openness, that it didn't feel like it was any limitation or any threat or like a smaller room. It was still wide and flavors, and yet a feeling of full on exploring this physicality.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask everybody this. See, this curiosity, this ecstasy, this joy Hanin's describing, and wow, exploring this physicality, exploring this identification and being fully here in this experience and the senses, and coming from the spaciousness where there's no problem. Can you relate to that? Find almost like an Indiana Jones moment. Wow, this is exciting. This is the greatest adventure. Going into this density, this even this experience of tension and resistance. And what do I find there? Can I touch ecstasy? Can I touch oneness here? Or what is the curiosity in each of us? And what did you find, Hanin, as we went deeply into, okay, closer, into what's it like, this touch? What's it like, the smell, the taste, the seeing, the hearing? What did you find in this adventure, this curiosity?
Love for detail, full on love for every detail, everything that was just arising here. It was like, even now, every little swallow, every little, every sound, frogs outside, everything is just taking it all, taking it all in and loving the waves of it. It's feeling it fully, and there's, what did I find? Bliss. Love for detail, I would say, yes. Like even just now, this everything is just like, give me more. Let me feel everything. Let me just taste it all, feel it all. Not even taste it with the senses, like and enjoy it fully.
What about when we said, then going even deeper into this identification as Hanin, even a sense of separation as we identify as Hanin in space and time? What about that?
I was taken in just as much, and it felt even more joyful because that's usually the separated self that I feel often I'm not connected to the senses anymore. And yet it was there at the same time, and it was like, oh, I love her. I love this story, this person, this feelings, this everything that's just here that's feels identified.
Last question.
Yes.
Before I go there, what was, as we just heard what Hanin described, when we went into identification with her, when she went into identification, when you went into identification, where we often find separation there, in separation and identification, Hanin finds, I love her. There's joy there to know this deeper. How does that translate? What's your experience of that? And we'll open this up in just a moment. One more question for Hanin. What about the stuff we don't like? What about shame? What about I did something wrong? What about I should? I made a mistake. As we feel, for me, when I say those words, each of those words, when I say them, I can feel the somatic experience of it. I can feel a little bit of contraction, the sensations that accompany that. And just for all of us, what about that? What did you find? What do you find, Hanin, with that?
Almost like just right now said when you were saying shame, it just showed up in my stomach area, as in like I call it like for me it's like a higher pitched v- vibration, or like a wave that feels like it's higher pitched. But there's just as much curiosity there from, and like, well, all of this is there. There's just as much love for it. It feels like that this can travel through, and it's not right now it feels like it's not limited to the it's not it doesn't feel it's taken away from anything. It's just almost as if it's spreading and it has space, it has room, and there's curiosity in towards that the same way as I have curiosity towards the tension in the face, the sensation of the mouth and the mouth moving and the words coming out. It feels equal right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sid.
Again, for the contractions that we don't like, whatever that is for each of us. Resistance, shame, pain, fear. In Hanin's system, there was the same sameness there with the curiosity, the love for it. Okay, I have to just take a breath here. Whew. Woo! Woo! And so, what's going on, guys? What's here? What do you notice? Tara, Dave, Jack, how you doing?
Yeah, well, it's so interesting, right? There is so much going on at the same time in presence, and still you can find yourself in stillness in this present moment. And then I'm like, it's amazing if you are getting more of awareness towards playing with this, what we just did. Um, yeah, it's making me more uh, it allows me more to surrender in everything, I think. Yeah.
Allows me more to surrender and everything. What's our versions of that when we hear Tara say that? Is it, wow, I can just trust and relax into what's here, into however life is appearing and whatever's arising in me? Is this the surrender? Is there more trust there? If we can find, like Tara was saying, even in the midst of all of this, wow, there's stillness here. You know, this group that we're doing this through, perfectly okay, perfectly okay. Wow, is there really perfectly okayness even in the midst of whatever's arising? What else, Tara? Anything else?
Yeah, well, it's always about the focus point, right? It's always about you being able to have a focus point. Yeah. And that's really interesting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
What was it like? And also to feel Tara, just like I highlighted in Hanin, the sense of they're the words and there's also the beingness, the music. Did you enjoy, as I did, the music of Tara? As we play with the masculine and feminine, and there's Dave's clarity. We play with this symphony here.